Hello, everyone. Today, I want to start with a simple but very important question. Have you ever felt like you were held back by the limitations you created for yourself? Perhaps you've thought, I can't do that. I don't have enough ability. Or I don't have the same opportunities as others. But you know what? Those things are not true. They are just limitations you've placed in your own mind. And I'm here today to tell you that nothing is impossible. We all have limitations, and I'm not talking about real limitations, like how you can't fly like a bird. I'm talking about the invisible limitations, the ones we create in our own minds that prevent us from stepping out and achieving great things in life. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can do anything immediately just by believing and trying hard, but I want you to realize one thing. The limitations you feel exist only in your mind. And if you change your thinking, you will break those limitations. And I want you to know that we all have the ability to change. No one is born perfect. We can all improve, grow, and overcome difficulties. But to do that, we must start from within. That's why I'm here today, to help you realize that you don't have to be limited by negative thoughts and fears anymore. Let me share with you a quote I love. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. You can't change the world to make things easier, but you can change yourself. And that is the key to overcoming all the limitations you think you have. Today, I want to help you realize that every limitation you feel is just a wall you've built in your mind, and you can tear it down. It all starts with changing how you see yourself and the possibilities you have. You don't need to be perfect right now, but you need to believe that you can change. And that belief, combined with persistent action every day, will take you to places you never imagined. So, are you ready to start changing how you view your limitations? Prepare yourself mentally, because this journey won't be easy. But if you persevere, if you dare to face your fears and step out of your comfort zone, you will see that nothing is impossible. We've just talked about the limitations we create in our own minds. And now I want you to understand that those limitations exist only in your head. If you can realize that what you think about yourself is not the absolute truth, you will start to see opportunities you couldn't see before. The first thing you need to do is recognize that you can change anything in your life if you change how you think and act. Don't let fears and self-doubt hold you back. We can't control everything in life, but we can control our thoughts. And that is the first step to breaking all limitations. I know you might think, Jim, it's easier said than done. And I understand because I've been there. But what I want you to understand is that everything starts with changing one thought, one belief. When I was young, I also felt like I had nothing special, no talent, no opportunities. But I learned that every change in my life started with a small decision. The decision that I would no longer let circumstances or fear control me. I want you to think about something very simple. When you want to change your life, you must change how you view everything around you. If you look at a difficult situation and think, I can't overcome this, you will never see the opportunity. But if you look at that situation and think, this is an opportunity for me to learn and become stronger, then you will see the challenges are just stepping stones for your growth. Change begins when you change how you react to the world around you. Nothing in this life can stop you except yourself. Let me say it again. When you change your thinking, you change your life. And those small changes will start to make a big difference in your life. You may find that change is not easy, but if you keep persisting every day, keep maintaining a positive mindset and taking action, you will find that one day things become easier. Every failure, every difficulty is just an opportunity for you to grow and get closer to your goals. The important thing is that you must believe you can do it. Because if you don't believe in your own abilities, No one else will. So start today. Start changing from within your mind. And the world will change with you. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. You can achieve what you think is impossible if you are determined enough and never give up. Remember that there are no limitations you cannot overcome if you change how you see yourself. How you view and act today will create your results tomorrow. And what I want you to understand is that everything starts with you, from how you think, how you act. And the decisions you make today, we've just discussed changing your mindset and realizing that the limitations we create in our minds are not impossible to overcome. But what I want you to remember is that a change in thinking must be accompanied by action. You can't just sit and wait, thinking that life will change because you have good thoughts. You can sit and wish for a healthy body, but if you don't exercise, you will never see results. You can dream of a successful career, but if you don't work hard and seize opportunities, that dream will remain just a dream. Action is the deciding factor. Action is the bridge between your goals and the results you want to achieve. If you want to change your life, if you want to achieve things you once thought were impossible, you must act. One thing I see in many people is a lack of action. They have ideas, they have plans, they have dreams, but they never act. They fear failure. They fear criticism. They fear they're not good enough. And I understand that because I felt that way too. I once thought I wasn't smart enough, talented enough to succeed, but I learned an important lesson. You don't need to have everything you think you lack to start. You just need to start, and that's why I say action is the key. You may not know exactly what to do at first, but if you start acting, even with a small step, you will gradually find your way. Action is the only way to start changing your life. I want you to picture a specific situation. Suppose you want to become an entrepreneur. You can learn, research, read books about business and strategy. But if you don't take any action, create a product, reach out to customers, test and adapt, you will never succeed. Those first steps, however small, will help you build confidence in your abilities. And each subsequent step will become easier because you've started, you've gained experience, you've learned from mistakes and successes. Remember that none of us can be perfect from the start. We only become better through mistakes and failures. And those failures are an essential part of success. If you're not willing to fail, you will never achieve success. Every time you fail, you learn something new. And every time you learn, you get closer to your goal. So, how do you start acting today? Start with the smallest things. Never think you need everything to be perfect to begin. The important thing is to start today with the smallest possible steps. Set a goal, even a very small one, and start doing it immediately. Remember that success is not something that happens by chance. Success is the result of the actions you take every day. If you act persistently every day, even with small steps, you will see that one day you will look back and realize you've come a long way. A simple example of action is the habit of reading books. If you want to become smarter, more knowledgeable, you can't just sit and think. You'll learn everything naturally. You must act. And that action is reading books every day. One book a week, one chapter a day. Those are small steps that will help you accumulate knowledge over time. Action creates momentum, and momentum drives more action. This is a continuous cycle where action comes first, and that action makes you feel more confident. The more you act, the more experience you gain, and the more capable you feel of overcoming challenges. That's why action is the first and most important factor in any change. Commit to yourself that today is the day to start. Don't let excuses or procrastination stop you. You may not know exactly where you'll go from here, but if you keep acting, you will find your path, and one day you will look back and see that your actions have changed your life. Nothing is impossible if you act. Success comes from doing the right things, day after day. And if you persist, you will see that everything starts to change. So, are you ready to act? Start today. We've talked about changing your mindset, taking action, and how it will bring you closer to your goals. But to maintain momentum and keep moving forward on the path to success, you need one crucial element: persistence. Action, as I said, is the first step, but persistence is what keeps you moving forward day after day, even when things don't go as expected. Persistence is the most important factor in achieving long-term goals, and that's something many people don't understand. They act for a while. Then when they don't see the results they want, they give up. They don't realize that change doesn't happen overnight. Success is a process, and that process requires persistence, even when you don't see immediate results. Imagine you're walking on a long road where all you see ahead is darkness. You can't see the destination, but you know that every step brings you closer to it. That's persistence continuing to move forward, even when you can't see the results right away. Many people give up when they don't see the destination immediately. But those who persist keep walking, never stopping, and they are the ones who achieve success. I've seen many people, when faced with failure, begin to doubt themselves, doubt their abilities, and then give up. They don't understand that failure is part of the process of success. Every time you fail, you learn a lesson. And every time you try again, you become stronger. And if you persist, if you don't give up, one day you will realize you've overcome everything. But I also want you to understand something important. Persistence doesn't mean doing the same thing forever without change. Persistence means continuing to try, learn, adjust, and improve. Every day, you can't keep doing the same thing if you realize it's not working. Persistence means not giving up, but also knowing when to change direction or methods to achieve your goal. A persistent person is not someone who never fails. A persistent person is someone who gets up after every fall and keeps going. And that persistence will help you build confidence. When you see that you can overcome challenges, you will feel stronger, more confident, and you will start to believe in your abilities. Think about the most successful people in the world. These people never give up. When they fail, they learn from it. And when they succeed, they don't stop. They keep acting, keep persisting, and never let difficulties or challenges make them abandon their goals. Persistence is the quality that all successful people have, but persistence is not an innate trait. Persistence is a habit, and that habit is built over time. You can't just persist once and expect immediate success. You must persist every day, whether you see results or not. And that persistence will lead you to success. Success is not something you achieve instantly. It is a long process full of challenges. And throughout this journey, persistence will be your companion. If you don't give up, you will achieve what you want. You will have failures, but each failure will help you learn and grow. And when you persist, you will see that every challenge can be overcome. So keep moving forward. Don't give up. Don't quit when things don't go as planned. Remember that persistence is not waiting for everything to be perfect, but continuing to act no matter how tough the circumstances. Surely, one day, you will look back and realize that persistence brought you to where you wanted to be. Persistence is what will lead you to success. Nurture it every day, and you will see that nothing is impossible. We've talked about changing your mindset, taking action, persistence, and commitment. But there's one more crucial element you need to achieve: great goals in life. Commitment. Commitment is not just saying you'll do something. Commitment is a deep decision in your heart, a bond you create with yourself that you will not give up, no matter how difficult things get. Commitment is when you say you will do something and nothing can stop you. Commitment is when you see challenges and obstacles but keep going because you know your goal is worth the sacrifices and effort. Many people start with a great idea. They're full of enthusiasm, excitement, and ready to get to work. But what happens when challenges arise? What happens when results don't come immediately? They give up, and that's the difference between those who succeed and those who never do. Successful people are those who commit to their goals despite difficulties. No matter how many times they fail, they keep getting up and moving forward. You may not see the results of your first efforts right away, but the important thing is that you commit to the process. Commitment is not a one-time action. It is persistent determination, day after day. Commitment is not when you feel good or excited. Commitment is when you keep working, when no one sees, when no one encourages you, when you feel tired and want to give up. I want you to remember one thing. Every success starts with a commitment to yourself. You can change your life if you commit to doing everything possible to achieve your goals. You can't just say you want to succeed. You must commit to the long and challenging journey. Commitment is not about what you do when things are easy, but about what you're willing to do when things get tough. Many people say they want a better life, but when they face challenges, they give up. Commitment is what keeps you on the path, no matter how many challenges or how many times you fall. You can't just commit to easy goals. You must commit to difficult goals. Goals you may not know how to achieve right now, but if you commit, if you keep acting every day, those goals will become reality. That's why I always say, success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. Success is not something you chase, it is something you attract by the person you become. And the person you become is shaped by your commitment to your growth, commitment to continuous learning, and commitment to the goals you've set. There will surely be times when you feel discouraged, when you feel like you can't go on. But don't forget that commitment is the driving force to get you through those tough moments. Commitment will help you overcome fears, overcome difficulties, and keep you on the path to success. Commit to yourself. Commit that you will not give up, no matter how hard things get. Commit to the journey, and the journey will lead you to your destination. And remember that when you commit to a goal, you will find the strength to overcome all the challenges life throws at you. We've talked about mindset, action, persistence, and commitment. But there's one more critical element you can't ignore if you want lasting success. That is habits. Acting once or being persistent for a short time won't bring lasting results. Success doesn't come from big leaps, but from the good habits you practice every day. These habits will shape who you are, creating the path to your goals. When you wake up each day, you don't just wake up with a sense of what you need to do. You wake up with habits built over time. These habits, whether positive or negative, have immense power. They will shape your life, helping you become the person you want to be or holding you back. If you want to change your life, you must change your habits. Habits are the actions you perform automatically without thinking, but do you realize that these automatic actions are what determine what you achieve in life? If you don't actively change your habits, you will unconsciously follow old habits that don't help you progress. And as a result, you will stay stuck in a cycle of undesirable outcomes. That's why I always emphasize the importance of building positive habits starting today. If you want to be successful, you must start with the smallest steps. A good habit, like waking up early, reading books, exercising daily, will help you build a solid foundation for the future. These habits will determine whether you can maintain your commitment and persistence in the long run. Habits are not something you change in a day, but every small action you take today will help you build a good habit for tomorrow. When you start building good habits, even small ones, you will begin to notice a difference. You will feel stronger, more confident, and more motivated to keep acting. Habits are a process, and you can't change habits with just one decision. You must commit to that process, persistently acting every day. And when you do that daily, you will see a noticeable change. Imagine every small action you take today as a brick building the foundation for your future success. But here's something important. Habits are not things you do when you're inspired. Habits are what you do when you lack inspiration, when you feel tired, when you don't want to do anything. Habits are when you act even when no one sees. When no one encourages you, committing to good habits will help you maintain momentum during tough times. Don't think you can change your habits easily. Good habits take time to form, and bad habits take time to eliminate. But the important thing is, if you take the right actions every day, if you maintain those positive habits, you will see your life start to change in ways you can't imagine. You will begin to become the person you want to be. Habits determine your ultimate results. And I want you to remember that you can change your habits today to build the life you want tomorrow. Good habits are the key to achieving success, financial freedom, and a prosperous life. Master your habits, and you will master your life. We've discussed mindset, action, persistence, commitment, and habits. But there's one more element I want to emphasize. That is continuous growth. Success is not something you achieve and then stop. Success is a continuous process. And throughout that process, you must keep learning, growing, and improving yourself. One thing I always tell you is, become the person you need to be to achieve what you want. And that means you must always grow. If you don't keep learning, if you don't keep increasing your value every day, you won't go far. I want you to understand that every day you learn something new. You become a better, more valuable person. Look at the most successful people in the world. They never stop learning. They never think they know enough. They always find ways to improve themselves. And that's why they can achieve things others only dream of. Growth is limitless. You can't perfect yourself and then stop. You can't say, I'm good enough now. I don't need to learn anymore. If you think like that, you will find yourself stagnating, and you will start to fall behind instead of moving forward. Success comes from never stopping learning, never stopping growing. One thing I always encourage is investing in yourself. If you want a better life, you must invest in yourself. Invest in knowledge, skills, and relationships that will expand your perspective and increase your value. Investing in yourself is the only thing you can be sure will bring the greatest return in your life. And here's something important I want you to remember. Never think you know enough. Even when you feel you've learned a lot, remember that life has countless things for you to explore. Growth never ends, and you must always be ready to learn more each day. Successful people are those with a lifelong learning mindset. They always seek opportunities to improve themselves, no matter how high they've climbed. Look at every area of life, from career, finances, to relationships, health, all require you to keep learning and growing. If you want a thriving career, you must continually learn new skills, improve existing ones, and adapt to changes in your work. If you want good health, you must learn about nutrition, exercise, and how to care for your body. And if you want to build lasting relationships, you must keep learning how to communicate and treat others. So, how do you grow every day? First, create a habit of learning. Spend a little time each day reading books, listening to lectures, taking courses, or simply talking with knowledgeable people. Make yourself someone who is always learning, always exploring, and always ready to change. Only when you keep learning and growing will you achieve the results you desire. Growth is essential on the path to success. You can't stand still. You can't think you're good enough because the world is always changing. If you don't change, you will be left behind. So commit to growth. Commit to learning every day, and you will become the person you've always dreamed of. We've explored a lot together about changing your mindset, taking action, persistence, commitment, habits, and continuous growth. But all of these things are only valuable when you actually act on them. And I want you to remember one important thing. You need a clear plan to turn your ideas and goals into reality. You may have big dreams, ambitious goals, but if you don't have a specific plan to achieve them, they will remain just dreams. A plan is the roadmap that guides you, showing you what to do, where to go, and when to act. Without a plan, you won't know where to start, and you can easily get lost. Think of life as a long journey, and your goal is the destination. If you don't have a map, you might waste a lot of time and effort trying to find the right path. But if you have a clear plan, a laid out route, you will know exactly the steps you need to take, and you will stay on the right track. The important thing is to set specific goals. Unclear goal won't help you navigate. You can't say, I want to be rich, because that's a vague goal. You must have a clearer goal, like, I want to save $1,000,000 this year, or I want to increase my company's revenue by 25% in the next 6 months. Goals must be specific, measurable, and have a deadline. And most importantly, goals must be realistic and achievable. Once you've set your goal, you must create a detailed plan on how to achieve it. You need to know what you will do, what you need to accomplish it, and where you will start. Don't get lost in overly complex or unrealistic plans. A simple, actionable plan is what you need. Then break your big goal into smaller steps. Never look at a big goal and feel overwhelmed. If you want to achieve a big goal, break it down into smaller goals. And each day, you only need to complete one of those small steps. Each small step will make you feel like you're moving forward, and that will be the motivation to keep going to the end of the road. When you have a clear plan, when you know what you need to do, and when you break your goal into realistic steps, you will start to feel like you can control your life and work, and that control will create a sense of confidence. You will know you're on the right track, and you will feel that success is certain if you keep following your plan. The next important thing is to commit to executing your plan every day. Nothing changes if you only think about your goals without acting. A good plan is only valuable when you start implementing it and stick with it every day. There is no success without sweat, no change without stepping out of your comfort zone. But don't forget that you can't avoid challenges. They are an inevitable part of any plan. Be prepared for failures, mistakes, And times when things don't go as planned, the difference between successful people and those who fail is not whether they face difficulties, but whether they keep persisting and working on their plan when difficulties arise. Never abandon your plan when you face failure. Every failure is a valuable lesson that helps you understand your path better and adjust your plan accordingly. Success doesn't come easily, but if you have a clear plan and keep persisting, one day you will look back and realize that those small daily steps brought you to your destination. A plan is not something you do once and forget. A plan is something you must live with every day. It must be part of your life, and you must commit to executing it every day, every hour. And once you commit to your plan, you will see that success is no longer far away, but something you are moving towards step by step. Success is not a matter of chance. Success comes from the decisions you make, the actions you take every day, and the persistence in sticking to your plan no matter how hard it gets. So, are you ready to create a plan for yourself? Start today, and you will see that with a clear plan and commitment to follow through. Nothing is impossible. We've gone through a long journey with important steps: changing your mindset, taking action, persistence, commitment, habits, continuous growth, and creating a detailed plan. But all these things are only valuable when you truly start acting and never give up. Your life won't change if you just sit still and dream about it. You must step out and work every day to turn your dreams into reality. I want you to remember that nothing is impossible if you truly commit to your goals. If you never stop learning, growing, and acting persistently every day, you will face failures, and there will be unavoidable challenges. But the difference between successful people and those who fail is not whether they encounter difficulties, but whether they dare to keep going. Always believe in your own abilities. Believe that you deserve a better life. And when you truly believe that, you will see that everything starts to change in ways you never expected. You will find you have enough strength to overcome every challenge, enough persistence to keep going when things get tough, and enough intelligence to find a way when you don't know what to do. But most importantly, I want you never to give up on yourself. Never stop believing in yourself, because you are the only one who can change your life. You are the only one who can make a difference. And if you keep acting every day, if you never stop learning and growing, if you commit to good habits and don't give up when faced with difficulties, I guarantee that in the end, you will succeed. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel perfect, because the perfect moment never comes, and perfection is an illusion. Act today with what you have, and you will see great changes in your life. Every small step you take today is a big step toward tomorrow. And when you look back, you will see that your efforts not only changed your life, but also the world around you. Keep moving, keep acting, and never give up. You can achieve great things. Wishing you success.